Hello and welcome to Confidence After Cancer. I'm your host, Gabrielle Mottershead, cancer survivor, confidence coach, and founder of Confidence After Cancer. And before we begin, if you've completed treatment but you're struggling to feel like yourself again, I'd love to invite you to book a free confidence clarity call with me. It's a relaxed, no pressure conversation where we can explore what's going on for you and whether coaching support could help you. You'll find the links to book that in the show notes. Now let's dive into today's episode. Have you ever found yourself saying, I'm exhausted, but then immediately feeling guilty because you've not actually done very much? Or perhaps you've looked at your diary and thought, why do I feel so overwhelmed? There isn't even that much for me to do today. And if that's you, I want you to know something. You're not imagining it and you are not being lazy. You're certainly not failing, because what many people don't realise after cancer is that there is a huge invisible mental load that survivors carry every single day. And that mental load can be utterly exhausting. From the outside, life may have appeared to return to normal. Treatment is over. You might be back at work. Your friends and family are relieved. Your hair may have grown back. People stop asking how you are. In fact, some people will assume that because treatment is finished, the difficult part must be over for you. But many survivors know that that isn't necessarily true. In some ways, the emotional impact begins after treatment ends, because suddenly you're expected to get on with life, and yet you're trying to process one of the biggest experiences that you've ever been through. Many people after cancer are carrying a constant stream of thoughts in the background, and you might not even realise how much mental energy they are consuming. Questions like, what if it comes back? Is this ache normal? Should I get this checked? Am I doing enough to stay healthy? What should I be eating? Why don't I feel grateful all of the time? Why can't I just move on? And then there's work. Am I performing well enough? Can people tell that I'm struggling? What if I can't keep up? What if I've changed too much? What if I'm not the person that I used to be? And that is a lot for the brain to hold, day after day, week after week, month after month. And this is especially true for many of the women who I speak to, many of the women who listen to this podcast. You're often the strong one, the capable one, the reliable one, the woman who gets things done, the woman who supports everybody else, and the woman who maybe has spent years proving herself professionally. And after cancer, there's often an unspoken expectation that you will simply pick up where you left off. But here's the truth. You can't go through something as significant as cancer and remain exactly the same as you were before. You've changed. Your priorities may have changed. Your energy may have changed. Your perspective on life may have changed. And yet, many women are desperately trying to squeeze themselves back into a version of life that no longer fits. And that creates enormous mental strain. I remember after my own treatment thinking I should simply be happy. After all, I was alive. I was grateful. I was fortunate. But underneath all of that gratitude was such confusion. Who was I now? What did I want from life? And why didn't I feel the way that I thought I should feel? And I spent a long time trying to make sense of all that. And looking back, I realise now, I can see that I was carrying a huge mental load, not because I was doing something wrong, but because I was trying to rebuild my identity after a life-changing experience. And many survivors find themselves doing exactly the same thing. And I think one of the reasons this is so difficult is because the world celebrates physical recovery. People can see that, they can understand that, but emotional recovery is much harder to recognise. Nobody sees the thoughts that wake you at 3 a.m. Nobody sees the fear before a follow-up appointment. And nobody sees the mental gymnastics involved in trying to reassure yourself that every ache and pain isn't that cancer returning. And because people can't see it, survivors often minimise it, and they tell themselves things like, well, I really should be over this by now, or other people have it worse than me, or I should just get on with it. But that only adds another layer of pressure. And so what if we look at this in a different way? What if nothing has gone wrong? What if the exhaustion that you are feeling isn't weakness? It's simply evidence that you're carrying far more than anybody realises, including yourself. And what if, instead of judging yourself, you become simply curious about what you're carrying? What if you gave yourself permission just to acknowledge it? Because awareness is often the first step towards healing. And this is the work that I do with my private clients. This is something I work through with women I support privately. Often they come to me believing that they've lost their confidence. But when we dig deeper, we discover they're carrying years of pressure often. Pressure to be strong, pressure to be grateful, pressure to return to normal, pressure to prove that they're okay. And once they begin releasing some of that pressure, confidence starts to rebuild naturally. Not because they've changed who they are, but because they've stopped fighting themselves. So before we finish today, I'd like to leave you with a question. Just take a minute and reflect on this. Really think about it. How much of your current exhaustion is coming from what you're doing, and how much is coming from what you are carrying? You might even want to write down your answer and journal on it maybe, because that awareness could change everything. So if today's episode resonated with you, please know you are not alone. Many women after cancer often carry an invisible mental load that nobody else can see. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is just acknowledge it, not judge it, not fight it, just simply acknowledge it. So if you'd like any support navigating life after treatment, I'd love to help you. You can book a free confidence clarity call with me using the link in the show notes. We can talk about where you are now, what's holding you back, and what really thriving after cancer could look like for you. So thank you so much for listening to Confidence After Cancer. And remember, you don't have to carry everything on your own. Until next time, stay safe, stay sane. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.